Hello? Am I audible? I think I'm gonna mess with my mic settings. I want you guys to give me your honest opinion on what sounds the best. I might get rid of my filters, or some of my filters. Let's see, what happens if I just do this? Does this sound more like an ASMR microphone now? Am I audible like the little sounds? I can't hear myself anymore, which sucks. I don't know what happened with my mic settings.
Newsflash, asshole!
Whoa.
Whoa. Thank you for the resub. Thank you, Jelly, for 32 months. Sounds cool. Okay. One thing I'm gonna do really quick is we're gonna turn off some of the more distracting redeems. If you guys want to get it out of your system, you know, go ahead, do it. Oh, 38 months, but why did it say 32? It says resub for 32 months. They've been subbed for 38 months. I'm confused. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Oh, I forgot to go to the right place. No! I promise I'm a professional and I know what I'm doing. But hi everybody, it's me, NeoPo Senpai, your local pint-sized milkman SCP. Why is my microphone so massive? Why am I so laggy? Ugh! Why am I so laggy? Okay. Hi. Welcome to, my idiot ASMR. Everything is lagging. Everything is terrible. I don't know what's happened. Oh no, I haven't touched any of my streaming stuff in a hot minute. You know what? We're gonna close Epic Game. We're gonna close that. We're gonna close this tab. Boop. We're gonna close this tab. Boop. I missed you guys too. I missed you guys a lot. I've been trying to focus on stabilizing myself and on work stuff and my house. I cleaned so much. I don't think it's been this clean in a hot minute. Like, it hasn't been filthy, disgusting, dirty, but it hasn't been my level of clean, and it's come to my attention that I'm very particular. I'm very particular, and everybody else in my house is not my level of particular, and so to get it to my level of particular, I really have to be the one to do the clean. And because of my physical issues, I am not usually the one that gets to do the clean. I'm usually having to be in my bed or sitting. But I've been having a sort of manic week, and my body hasn't hurt as bad as usual. I haven't been as sick as usual. It seems like I'm in remission a little bit from whatever it is that I have going on, because there's a lot of stuff wrong with me. It seems like I'm out of a flare-up, and so I've been cleaning, and I've been going out of the house a lot more, and cooking, and working on work stuff. But I've been, I don't know, a little down, a little quirky, and it's been harder for me to come stream it's been a lot harder for me to come stream because I don't want to come here whenever I am not feeling okay mentally. And whenever I have good physical health periods, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on doing all of this because it's gonna make me feel better. It's gonna make me feel a lot better. But I've wanted to be here, and I'm happy that I'm here right now because I'm gonna be reading spooky things, and I've discovered I really like reading spooky things. Wait, hold on. I need to tell my grandma. We're gonna tell my grandma together that I'm reading spooky stories because I didn't even tell her the other night when we were reading. My husband is taking our roleplay too far. Let's see. Grandmama, I'm going to be doing scary story readings tonight. If you would like to listen in. Why am I green? Will behave and not curse unless it is in the story. No, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna curse. I can't promise that. I will behave and not be as much of a little creature as I usually am. Let's see, what was the one I'm gonna read now? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? My wife has been peeking at me from around corners. And it's gone from weird to terrifying. That's what we're reading first. Grandma. I am going to read... Da-da-da-da. My grandma likes horror and writing and just literature like that. My grandma's really into literature.
Literature. Day for capitalism.
Literature. Anyways, my grandma's really into like English studies and stuff. She used to go to college for writing. She's very into horror and sci-fi and things like that. This is the same woman that I told you guys like did a seance. Literature? More like Little Richard. Okay. So, hopefully, the mic is, what's the word? Pleasing enough to you guys. Hopefully, this is good. You know, audio levels. I don't know if this counts as ASMR, but I feel like it does. I feel like you have to enjoy the sound that you're getting in your ears for it to count as ASMR. It has to be all appealing. I'm in your ear. I'm in your ear and you can... Oh, no, goddammit. Why am I in front of the TV? I don't want to be green anymore and it keeps shooting me to the other channels. There we go. Okay, are you guys ready? My wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. And let me get the link.
Newsflash, asshole!
12
Cass!
months.
It's
One
been a
whole
year?
in the milk farm.
1 whole fucking year? Why are there 2 mix-it-ups open? Oh, that's why. I was gonna turn off redeems, but I forgot. Pop up. Boop boop. Can a mod maybe pin that for me, please? Thank you. I kind of want one of those too. I want the ears. I need to get like soundproof foam and stuff. I think that would be cool to be able to like soundproof my room and then do ASMR stuff like with one of those. That would be so fun. That would be so fun. No, I don't know how to pin either. I don't know how to pin on Mix It Up. Ah. You know, don't people like lick those for ASMR stuff? The idea of licking a silicone ear. The idea of licking a silicone ear, it sounds horrifying and weird. That sounds so weird. Like, even if somebody was like $5 ear trigger, lick ear, I would be like, oh god, oh god. Then I have to sanitize it. I have to wash it. I have to wash the ear. I don't want to lick it. I don't want to lick the ear. That's why would you lick the ear? But people do. Thank you, Jelly. I'll post it again. I actually need to get more mods, I think. I think we need more mods. Boop. A lot of the mods are volunteers, but they have to like earn the right to be a mod because I'm very picky. I'm very picky about who I let be mods. And the mods do great wonderful work. Great wonderful work. I don't know where I would be without my mods. My mods are like really good at protecting our peace here at the Gamer Milk Farm. They are the armed guards for a reason. If any of you guys start acting up, they come in and they smack you on the ass. If any of you guys, you know, come in here with your troublesome ways, they will take you to the Gamer Milk Farm up north. Saturday, hi! Lomzy, hi! Ath might give them a stern talking to, you're right. Hooray! Morning, hello! We're about to start reading. My wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. No, I didn't. I haven't been really keeping up with my social media stuff. Especially Facebook. I feel like if anybody was to battle for head mod, it would be Birds versus Ath. I think Birds versus Ath definitely would be the go-to. Okay. Let's start actually reading. Okay. My wife, Lynn, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 11 months. Our entire history together has been very normal, and never once have I noticed any weird behaviors or red flags. I can't stress enough how out of character this whole thing is for her. It's an SCP Foundation amusement park in the works, and we need to... I would love to go to an SCP Foundation amusement park. Holy shit. I want to do that. That sounds like great plans for my birthday. And July is really far away. I want to go. Wait, when does it open? I will have to look at it after stream. Because we got a flow going on tonight. We're trying to read. And I'm getting distracted already. I need it to be real, though. Lynn is very kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. She's always been the no-nonsense type of person. Being childish or trying to scare me is not something she'd normally do. She doesn't even like watching horror movies. That bitch. When we first started dating, she agreed to watch The Shining with me because she knew how much I loved horror. She was so scared that she didn't even make it through half of the movie before we had to turn it off. She isn't into anything creepy and has never been into pranks. It's just not her cup of tea, and that's fine, but that's what was so strange about this. It's just so unlike her. No. I'm sorry, Cast. I don't know if I'm going to Off-Kai in 2026. It really all depends. I should also add that she never had any mental health issues as far as I'm aware. It doesn't run in her family. I know some people are able to hide their mental health problems, but in the 6 years we've been together, I think I'd have seen some sort of sign. 2 months ago, I was in the kitchen making myself some coffee before work. I was running a bit late that morning, and I knew I wouldn't be able to make it down to Dunkin' Donuts for my usual morning fix. I took a sip of my coffee as I hurried down the hall towards the front door, when I happened to notice Lynn peeking at me from around the corner ahead of me. I could only see her eyes and a strand of her long, dark hair hanging against the wall. The rest of her body was concealed behind the corner. I nearly spilled my coffee when I saw her. I did burn the shit out of my lips. "Geez, Lynn," I said, wiping a few drops of coffee from my pants. "You scared the shit out of me." She immediately popped out of view like a little kid that had been caught. I heard her scurry off towards the living room, and by the time I got to the front door, she was out of sight. I want you guys to know, this is me. This is definitely me in a relationship. I would be like peeking from around corners, and I have really fucking long hair and pale skin, so it would look really creepy for me to just be like kind of perched around the corner with my fingers kind of curled around, you know, hair hanging down, eyes wide, just like here, watching you. That's definitely me. This is me. So if this scares you, sorry. She immediately... Wait, no, I already did that part. Okay. It was really weird. And just totally out of character for her, like I said. But I also found it kind of funny that she was being more playful and a little less serious. I shouted that I loved her and called her a weirdo. As I shut the door behind me, I heard her laughing. Her behavior was a bit odd, but it certainly wasn't something to call a priest over. I forgot it by lunch, and by the time I got home, she was her normal self. I didn't bring it up, and neither did she, and life went on. Conor McGregor, is he the husband in this story? Yeah, so I'm scary, Jelly. I'm scary. You're gonna hear me clear my throat a lot. I'm sorry. The next incident happened 3 days later. It was around 2 a.m. and I had woken up to get a drink. I was standing at the kitchen island, jug of OJ in hand, when I felt a strong feeling that I was being watched. For whatever reason, I looked down at the floor and saw my wife's smiling face staring back. She was peeking at me from the other side of the island, staring up at me with wide, unblinking eyes and grinning like the Cheshire Cat. I screamed, I'll admit it, not out of irrational fear, but for some reason, at that moment, I was scared. It took me a little longer than I'd like to admit to go back upstairs, but I eventually did. When I got to her bedroom, Lynn was lying on her side asleep, or at least pretending to be. I stood there for a while. watching her breathe to be sure she was really asleep. Hi, Cozy. I had the feeling she might jump out at me at that moment I got into bed, but she didn't. I climbed into bed and she didn't even move. Her breathing was soft and deep, and I was starting to wonder if I dreamt the whole thing. The next morning, I waited for her to come down for coffee, and after handing her a mug and kissing her cheek, I decided to ask her about it. "What was that about last night?" I asked, keeping my tone light so I didn't, offend or embarrass her. She frowned over her cup of coffee, shaking her head like she had no clue what I was referring to. "You were peeking at me again. From over there," I said, pointing to the spot on the floor by the kitchen island. She followed my gaze, and when she looked back at me, she burst out laughing. She laughed so hard that I couldn't help but join her. What was that about meatballs? Hold on. Am I crazy? My dyslexia. Oh no, there it is. I got meatballs. Hell yeah. I had spaghetti tonight with meatballs. She followed my gaze, and when she looked back at me, burst out laughing. She laughed so hard that I couldn't help but join her. "You creep me the fuck out sometimes, you know that?" I said. There's a lot of "I said" in this story, and it irritates me. She giggled and set her cup on the counter and wrapped her arms around my neck. "You creep me out all the time, so I guess we're even," she teased. We said our goodbyes and left for work. As I drove, I kept thinking about how creepy it had been seeing her grinning at me from behind the island like that. The sounds her hands made on the floor as she crawled away. I told myself she was just trying to be silly. Just trying to join me in my love of all things horror. It's not like I was afraid of her, but it still didn't sit right with me. I started seeing her peeking at me more and more. Sometimes she'd be peeking out from behind the couch or living room curtains. Once she even managed to get inside her grandmother's old trunk that sits at the foot of our bed. I might not have even known she was there at all had the trunk's old hinges not given her away. She had the lid propped up just enough so that only half of her face peeked through. She'd been grinning like an excited toddler. It was unnerving. I didn't even know what to say to her. All I could do was stare. When I finally found my voice, I asked her why on earth she would be doing this. She didn't answer, but she had slowly closed the lid, shutting herself inside the trunk. I just walked away, feeling disturbed. I didn't understand why she was doing it, but it clearly made her happy. I just hoped she would tire of the game quickly. Lynn didn't peek at me for the next 2 weeks. I started to think she was done with her weird prank, and I was relieved. We were watching a show on Netflix one night, and I jokingly said that I hadn't seen her peeking at me lately, and that she must have given up on her spy game. She looked up at me with a small smile and said, "Maybe I've just gotten better at it." I didn't say anything, but I wondered whether or not she was joking. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. Was she still peeking at me when I wasn't looking and I just hadn't noticed? And if so, what the hell was she getting out of this? I started to feel paranoid, constantly checking whether she was watching from around the corner or behind a door. I was jumpy whenever I was home and she wasn't in full view of me. I felt stupid and a little crazy. But after a few weeks without another incident, I began to relax. I stopped checking behind furniture and walls and told myself it was just a bad memory. Then a few days ago, things got so much worse. Lynn left to go to a friend's, and I lounged on the couch and played a couple of games on my laptop. Around 9 p.m., I hopped in the shower and I was washing the soap from my hair. I felt that awkward feeling that I was being watched. I slowly opened my eyes and almost had a fucking heart attack. Lynn was peeking from behind the shower curtain. Her entire head stretched into the shower, leaving just her body outside. Her long, dark hair hung against the curtain, the ends dripping from water. Her mouth hung open in a terrible grin, eyes wide and red, as if she hadn't blinked in a while. I screamed and jumped back against the wall. She didn't move, nor did her smile waver. Her makeup ran down her cheeks in 2 black streaks. She looked giddy and completely deranged. I was fucking terrified. I'm like, what if she's just like holding in laughter and she's tearing up and it's like making all the makeup run, but it's just like she's doing it for so long. Like if she just maybe laughed and let it out, he would like be like, oh, okay. Maybe she's just really like invested in the bit. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, but being watched with like their face turning red and their eyes wide as just sweating the entire time. No sound, no movement. You don't know when she's gonna activate. It goes on for like 30 minutes. That sounds scary. She's just in a silly, goofy mood. Ovulate? I don't think I've ever done this when I'm ovulating. I'll have to get feedback from all of my friends. We should run a poll tonight on Twitter. Do you get, silly, goofy, stare someone down for 30 minutes unmoving and unwavering with your mouth open in a disgusting, twisted way just when you're ovulating? And we'll see how many yeses we get to that. Maybe that is the answer. We stood like that for a few moments, neither of us saying a word. Finally, after what felt like forever, she slowly pulled her head back out of the shower, and I watched her blurry figure through the curtain as she moved backwards towards the bathroom door. A second later, the bathroom door slammed shut, hard enough to rattle the mirror. I screamed again and jumped out of the shower to lock the door. I stayed inside the bathroom for over an hour. Maybe I overreacted to some of you. But, joke or not, I wasn't going to put up with that crazy shit anymore. That's what I kept telling myself as I paced in my bathroom, stopping to listen at the door every few minutes. Oh, he's paranoid now. He's paranoid as fuck now. Oh god, he never knows when he's alone. That's so scary. Suddenly, I heard a muffled sound, and I pressed my ear against the bathroom door. Straining to listen, I couldn't hear anything, but I envisioned Lynn standing on the other side of the door, giggling at her joke. I felt a surge of anger. I was beyond pissed at being made to feel scared in my own house, and made to hide in the bathroom for over an hour. All for what? Some joke? If it was a joke, it was an awful one. I felt a surge of anger. Wait, I already read that part. Damn it. What the fuck, Lynn? I snapped. This shit is getting really fucking annoying. I waited for her to apologize or to call me a jerk, but instead I heard a faint moan. So quiet I wondered if I heard it at all. But then complete silence. Lynn? I called out, not able to even hide the shakiness in my voice. I got no response, just my own heavy breathing. I swear to God, just fucking stop it, I yelled, pounding my fist on the door. I waited for her to cuss me out, something I would expect from me talking to her like that. I never screamed at her before. Hi, Giuliano. But there was nothing. Just the occasional drip from the shower head. I won't deny that I was scared, too afraid to open the damn door and face my own wife. I waited another 30 minutes or so, which feels like a fucking lifetime when you're scared. Finally, I decided I wasn't going to spend the night hiding in my bathroom. So I got down to my knees and peered under the door. I almost expected to see her face peeking back at me, but thankfully I didn't. I could see straight down the hallway to the top of the stairs, but no Lynn. I didn't know if I should be happy about that or not. I looked for a few minutes, waiting to see her head pop up over the top step, but it never came. Are there no other doors in this hallway? Why is there just like a staircase going upstairs? Why is the bathroom downstairs and attached to nothing else? Because if I was him, with prior knowledge, I would be terrified of her being in like that door off to the right down the hallway. Like, what if she's there? What if she's standing there waiting there? You never know. I stood up, my hand hovering over the door, and mentally prepared myself to open it. I slowly turned the lock with shaky fingers. I was about to yank it open when I heard a sound that still makes me feel nauseous when I think about it. A moan. Louder than before, but this time I was able to tell just where it was coming from. I turned my head to the closet door, as if in slow motion, and locked eyes with my wife, who was peeking out at me from the slight gap. See? He should have been scared of the fucking doors. He should have been scared of the fucking doors, too. She's a fucking expert. Of course she's not gonna be just standing up. You're expecting that. You're expecting that. No, she's somewhere else. The house has 3 rooms. Bottom floor is a bathroom and a staircase. Top floor is a hallway that only leads to 1 bedroom and nothing else. That's such a small space. That's not a lot of hiding places. Her eyes were still wide as ever, and her mouth was hanging open in the most grotesque gaping smile I'd ever seen. I didn't even scream. I was too scared for even that. Her hands were clasped to her chest, body trembling with sheer delight, as if she could barely contain her excitement. A short, raspy moan bubbled up from her throat, deep and raw, sending a shiver through my entire body. I don't think this would be like a sexy moan, like short, raspy moan. Like that? Is that a short, raspy moan? Somehow I found the ability to pull the bathroom door open and ran as fast as I could all the way down the steps, snagging my keys and phone from the table in the living room before running outside to my car. I could hear her shrill laughter behind me, but it didn't hear her getting closer. I didn't bother shutting the door. I drove away from the house faster than I legally should have, shivering the entire time. Either from fear or the cold. Maybe a little of both. I hadn't grabbed a coat or even a pair of shoes. I was still in my boxers and my hair was still damp. He was in the bathroom for like 2 fucking hours. Why is his hair still wet? It would have air dried by then. It would have been like crazy frizzy probably. Says if he has curly hair, he didn't have time to put any of his products on. Would it still be steamy in the bathroom? Does he not turn on his fucking vent? That's so bad. This man has mold in his bathroom. That's what's wrong with him. Didn't open a window. Didn't open a window or turn the little vent on to keep your steam out. You fool, you should have air dried by now. This is why you have black mold and now you're crazy. It's the mold, exactly. It's mold exposure. They've gone insane from mold. She's gotten like crazy and he's gotten super paranoid. Her brain is rotting and his is too. I drove straight to my brother Chris's house for about 40 minutes. Oh, thank you. A willing sacrifice.
I am the milkman. My milk is delicious.
Oh my god, guys. We have our first official willing sacrifice to the Gamer Milk Farm. I'm so glad that you are willing to sacrifice yourself to be dragged to my wonderful liminal space where I put your consciousness inside of a chihuahua and surgically alter you to where you produce breast milk, and then I hook up your unconscious, disconnected body to milking machines where I just milk you of all your breast milk, and I also take your teeth and I sell your teeth, and then you get fed gruel with tubes that are just shot down into your body. Look, oh, the fog machine is on. Thank you. But yeah, this man's going crazy from the mold exposure. He has fucking mold exposure. Yeah, welcome to stream. We're reading, fuck, what is it called? It's pinned. The thing is pinned. Yeah, it's spooky. Sorry, we interrupt your programming to bring you Gamer Milk Farm. Brought to you by NeoPo Senpai, owner, operator, and CEO of the one and only Gamer Milk Farm. Milkman SCP Wonder Air. I threw my phone at the dash in a rage. I have to respond to this message. Do. I threw my phone at the dash in a rage, furious at her nonchalant attitude. My brother and his wife were surprised to see me, especially dressed in just a pair of boxers, but told me to stay as long as I needed. Chris lent me some clothes and asked me what happened. I told him Lyd and I had a fight, but I didn't get into details. I didn't want him to think I was overreacting. Leaving my... Hello? Hello? I think I'm back. My internet went crazy. Let's see. Hold on. I have to reopen Mix It Up. It crashed my Mix It Up. Welcome back. What was I saying? I got completely sidetracked. Stop downloading your furry porn? No, I'm uploading my furry porn. Uploading, there's a difference. Hi, Hungry. We're doing ASMR rating tonight. And I'm trying to fix my stream because I crashed. Refresh. There we go. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways. Hello, willing sacrifice. It's nice to meet you. Also, hello to anybody else who is watching on, like Twitter, YouTube, watching the VOD. I don't know. I get a lot of views on my VODs, which makes me think people go and, watch it on occasion. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Twitch works. I don't know how it does its thing. Hi, VOD people. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on here. Is that better? Now do I look good for being in a crash? Where'd the milk in you? Yeah, I just work here. On occasion. Okay, anyways, wife is creepily staring at him from behind corners. Unmoving. Like, mouth in a giant twisted smile. Eyes as wide as they can go. Unnerving. It's been going on for months now. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's insane. He's scared. He's going to his brother's house. He's arrived there. His wife is acting like nothing is wrong. He lied to his brother and was like, we got into a fight. I tried to sleep on their sofa, but my brain wouldn't let me sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lynn's face staring at me from inside the closet. Knowing she'd been in there with me the entire time made my skin crawl. She never left the fucking bathroom at all. Instead, she slipped inside the closet and slammed the bathroom door shut to fool me. The mere thought of going back home gave me anxiety. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Chris ended up giving me a sleeping pill, so I was able to get a little rest. My sleep was filled with terrible dreams of Lynn's smiling face. I woke up just as the sun started to rise. My sore body ached from the sofa, and I felt drained. I knew I'd have to call Lynn at some point, but didn't know what to say to her. I wouldn't be going home unless she gave me her word that she would never do any more creepy shit. I just wanted my wife back. Her normal, serious self never looked so good to me. I was contemplating calling her and telling her that, like, hey, baby, I would really find you a lot more attractive if you stopped. If you just fucking stopped. You want some of this ding-dong, baby? I could get it up for you right now. On command if you just stop smiling at me. I was contemplating calling her and telling her that when that familiar feeling came over me. I was being watched. I was staring at the ceiling, my heart in my throat. I didn't want to look away, but the longer I ignored the feeling, the worse it got. My eyes drifted away from the ceiling, almost on their own. Her face was pressed up against the window beside the couch, staring down at me with the same gaping smile. Drool dribbled down her lips, leaving 2 long streaks down the glass. I didn't know how long she'd been there, but something told me she'd been there quite a while, possibly all night. He needs to kill his wife. That's the only solution to this, I think. Oh my god. Something's wrong with her. Something's very wrong with her. It's the mold. It's the mold exposure. Because he takes hot showers and doesn't run his vent or open his fucking window. He's got mold poisoning. He's crazy. And she's crazy too. Lynn, are you crazy? What the hell is wrong with you? Just go home, I shouted. Now! She didn't move, and her ghastly expression never changed. If anything, her smile only grew, as if she had never been more elated. I could hear Chris and his wife moving around upstairs, as if Lynn could hear them from her place outside. Her head twitched slightly in their direction, and she began to close her mouth slowly. She's gonna play innocent. Oh my god. Also, what if you're right? What if, like, she's a ghost, and I don't know, maybe he freaked out his brother and his sister-in-law, and he's like, hey guys, I had a fight with my wife, and they're just like, oh fuck, she's dead. He must be having some kind of a crisis. Fuck it, let him sleep on the couch. And then they went in their room and they're arguing, and the sister-in-law's kind of like, what if he kills us in our sleep? He's not okay, John. We need to call someone. He needs to see an expert. He needs to go into a psych ward tonight. We have children. It's 3 a.m. and he's talking about his dead wife. And the brother's just like, but he's my brother. I can't just let him suffer. And then, you know, it's a whole thing. And she might leave with the kids tonight. Funny enough, my ex-wife is my sleep paralysis demon, so this story hits different. That's not good. I'm so sorry. Chris called my name from upstairs, obviously concerned. He's like, oh shit, my wife is right. Fuck. I turned to see him and his wife, Rebecca, hurrying down the steps. When I turned back to the window, Lynn was gone. The only sign she'd been there was the 2 streaks of drool still dripping down the glass. I tried explaining to Chris and Rebecca about waking up to see Lynn watching me through their window. They were skeptical. Who wouldn't be? Chris and I went outside to the spot in front of the window, but there were no footprints in the dirt. Just a slight indent. Animal, probably, Chris guessed. I didn't want to argue. He and Rebecca assumed I dreamt the entire episode, but they didn't understand, and I was too tired to explain it to them. I called out of work that day and turned my cell off. I didn't want to face Lynn. Hi. Hi, Muto. I didn't want to face Lynn. Just talking to her was too much for me at this point. I really started to believe something was irreversibly wrong with her. That no matter what promises she made, we'd never be the same again. The thought saddened me to my core. I cried most of the morning. By noon, I figured I was ready to confront her. Give her one last chance to explain herself. I could at least give her that after 6 years, I told myself. I turned my phone on and saw the dozens of texts she'd sent, all from a seemingly concerned wife. Can we talk? I love you. Please call me. I'm really worried. Can you answer? Just come home. And more of the same. All texts telling me she loved me. She wanted me home. How worried she was. Not a damn one addressing the crazy shit she pulled. Like she hadn't been acting like a character from a Stephen King book. Even her texts were different. She normally texted novels just to tell me to pick up a loaf of bread. You'd think she'd have more to say to me after her bizarre shenanigans. I know it probably seems childish to some of you who are miles away from this situation. But if you saw the way Lynn had looked at me, how she scampered away on all fours like some wild animal, grinning at me from inside the closet like a lunatic, then I think you'd find my reaction was warranted. That would be cool to have a rotten milk avatar for Halloween time. Or just any kind of like custom Halloween costume. It'd be fun. I don't want to pry because it's not my place, but is this fight something that can be mended? Rebecca asked. She made us both a sandwich for lunch, and I knew she wanted to breach the subject without seeming to be nosy. I don't know, she's like a different person, I said, choosing my words carefully. I still wasn't ready for her or Chris to know the full extent of the batshit craziness that I'd been dealing with. People change, Ben. But she's still the same woman you married. You both just need to talk. Get through your issues. Whatever's going on, I'm sure it can be fixed. She said, ever the peacemaker. I think it's beyond that now. I don't think talking would help. I just don't trust her. The words stung in my heart. I missed and loved my wife, but how could I live with someone like that? Living in constant fear didn't sound too appealing. Lynn loves you. She has to be absolutely crushed. Crushed. I don't know about that. Well, she certainly seemed like it to me. I've never seen her so upset. Very much unlike the Lynn I know, Rebecca said, shaking her head sadly. It took me a full minute for her words to really sink in, and when they did, I felt dread worming its way through my skin. Wait. What do you mean you saw her? You saw Lynn? My mouth suddenly dry. Rebecca nodded casually, as if that fact wasn't nightmare fuel. Maybe for her it wasn't. She stopped by this morning just after Chris left for work, she said, cleaning the plates from the table. I didn't see her car, though. Maybe she took an Uber or something? Beck, what did she say? Did she come inside? I asked, sweat starting to break out my forehead. I began looking around, examining corners as though a predator lurked behind them. No, she just asked if you were awake yet, and I said that you weren't. I asked if she wanted me to wake you, but she said no. Just said to let you sleep, she said as she washed the dishes. There's a lot of she said, and that's my only complaint so far about this story, is like the she said, he said. I was taught that that's like a cardinal sin of writing, is to always end your dialogue with he said, she said. So I'm a little like, lazy. This doesn't read vocally as well, you know? Neo said. God damn it. Chat said. That's all? She didn't say anything else? I asked. No. She looked awful, though, like she hadn't slept in days. I think you should call her. I got up from the table and thanked Rebecca for lunch. I felt a little bit better at the knowledge that at least she hadn't come inside. He's not pregnant. Still, I needed to double check that the doors were locked. I sat for a while trying to figure out what to do next. I didn't want to go home, but I felt that I owed it to Lynn to help her if I could. Hadn't I sworn an oath to love and honor her through sickness and health? Clearly she was very sick. If she was sick, which I truly believe she was, I had to try and get her help. But I didn't even know where to start. I didn't want to call the police, and besides, what the hell was I going to tell them? That my wife was peeking at me? That she was being creepy? As bizarre as she'd been, she still hadn't committed any crime. Not yet, anyways. It felt wrong. Dangerous, even. Like something sinister lurked beneath her smile. I knew as her husband, I was well within my rights to have her committed. But if she simply acted normal in their presence, she obviously had been able to fool Rebecca into thinking she was just a concerned wife. As long as the doctors didn't find her a danger to herself or others, they'd have no choice but to release her after 72 hours. She only does it when he's alone. Oh my god. She's like completely normal. He just needs to have children with her. He needs to move in with a roommate. That's all he needs to fix his wife. I felt lost and overwhelmed. So I did what any husband in my position would. And I got a cuck for a bodyguard. And now life is fine. No. I called her mother. I didn't want to believe me. But it was time to tattletale on my wife for being a creepy bitch. Her mother, Marianne, and I were never on the best terms. We'd never fought or anything like that. She just wasn't a very warm person. I wasn't really able to get along with her. She hardly ever smiled, and when she did, only her lips would move into a thin-lipped smile, leaving her eyes as blank as before. She gave off this aura that felt like she was permanently on the offensive. Oh, damn, she's got bad aura. I'd only met her twice, and both times were for such short visits. I got the impression she didn't approve of me for her daughter. Lynn always ushered out quickly, as she didn't want me to feel uncomfortable, which I was grateful for. Being in her mother's company felt almost unbearable, like walking on glass. I was glad when we were moved 3 states away so we didn't have to see her often. I was happy to avoid the woman, but I needed her help. I really didn't want to talk to her at all, but I had to talk to someone, and someone who knew Lynn better than I did. So I grit my teeth and I did what I had to. Yes? Yes, she answered, sounding irritated. I didn't do it right the first time, sorry. Marianne, it's me, Ben. Do you have a minute to talk? I asked. I could hear her cluck her tongue in irritation. I'm in the middle of writing some checks, but if you insist, I suppose I can spare a moment. What is it that you want to discuss, Benjamin? She said. He said, she said bullshit. Think you better quit talking that shit. Or you be leaving it with no tits. I'm gonna chop them off. It's about Lynn. She's been acting strangely. And I was wondering if you had any idea whether there was something I was quickly interrupted. It's a bit difficult to follow your rambling, Benjamin. What is it you want from me? I could hear her standing there in the thin sweater and slacks, tapping her fingernail impatiently on the table. I wanted to know if you've ever noticed any odd behavior, or possibly any mental health issues. There was a long, uncomfortable pause, and I couldn't... God, the writing is so... I have such a hard time reading. Fun fact, guys, I have dyslexia, so if I fuck things up, I'm sorry. This isn't perfect. I'm not a professional. Aren't there people who are like professional readers? How do you get the job reading fucking books? How do you get an audiobook job? Does that make you a professional reader? I'm not sure if this is one of your jokes, Benjamin, but if so, I don't find the humor in it. Now, I do have business to attend to, as I've said, so if you don't mind... I cut her off before she could get rid of me. Marianne, it's not a joke. I'm sincerely concerned about Lynn's mental health. Her behavior has been very erratic lately. I'm very worried about her, and I figured as her mother, you would be as well. My frustration was evident in my voice. If you're truly concerned, then I suggest you get the health professionals involved. I don't know what you expect of me. I could tell she was seconds away from hanging up. And for some reason, I was desperate not to let her. I had the feeling that she knew a lot more than she was letting on. Please, if not for me, do it for Lynn, I tried. I heard a faint, shaky intake of a breath. As if she were trying to hold her steely persona together, but failing. Marianne, Benjamin, I don't know what to tell you. My only advice would be to seek professional help. Do not call here again. Goodbye. I tried to call out to her, but she hung up. I tried to wrap my head around the call and her refusal to help me. Even if she didn't like me, wouldn't she want to help her own daughter? I couldn't understand that. I tried to replay the conversation, desperate to find something I missed. Oh my god, what if she also gave her daughter mold poisoning and made her slightly crazy? And she feels guilty about it. And she realizes it's coming back. The mold poisoning is coming back. She stayed away to keep her daughter, from being mold exposed. But it's too late. The husband caused more mold exposure in the bathroom. We're figuring the story out. After a while, I almost gave up, till I remembered her last words to me. Seek professional help. She said those words with a bit of urgency. I could have just been grasping at straws, but no. I was sure her voice had changed ever so slightly when she said that. As if they were very important. Crazy daughter. A soon-to-be divorced crazy daughter. Yeah. Soon-to-be divorced crazy daughter. I don't know if that, sells it a little bit more. What did she mean? I assumed she'd been referring to medical professionals, but maybe she was referring to someone else? Someone that she didn't, for some reason, feel comfortable saying directly, or maybe I was just desperate. He's reading into it. He's like, oh, an exorcism, you say? I should call the Vatican? I waited for Chris to get home, and after a very long and exhausting conversation with him, Rebecca, I convinced them that Lynn truly needed psychiatric help. I didn't tell them everything. I wasn't prepared to go into it yet, but I told them about our last encounter, how she'd hidden in the bathroom, peeking at me from the closet. They were obviously shocked, but thankfully they believed me. They too just wanted to help her. Still, they didn't think that it was all that serious. Weird, maybe, but not dangerous. They just kept saying that Lynn had to be playing some kind of a weird joke. Maybe for YouTube? Rebecca offered, if only half-heartedly. Chris didn't think we should involve the police just yet. He offered instead to go with me, and I readily accepted. He reasoned that calmly talking to her, trying to coax her? Quacks her? Coerce? Yeah, trying to coerce her into going willingly was the best recourse. I agreed to do it his way. At least, I wouldn't be going into the house alone. We drove over this morning, just after breakfast. There was no way I was going at night. When we pulled into the driveway, my stomach began doing somersaults. Her car wasn't there, but I still didn't let my guard down. Angelic, thank you. The front door was ajar, and for a split second, I thought we'd see her eyes staring through the gap. I was shaking and started to sweat. Chris, however, was fine. He waited for me to open the door, his hands in his pockets, like he was going on a fucking stroll through the park. I envied his ignorance. What? I don't really have any comment on that. I don't really know how to respond to events in my chat. I'm sorry. I pushed the door open and was immediately hit with the stench of rot. Chris smelled it too, and he walked into the house behind me with his nose scrunched up. What do you guys use to clean the floors around here? Shit! Chris mumbled. Shut up, I said, my eyes darting around for any signs of Lynn. The house was deadly quiet and dark despite being 10 in the morning. All the curtains were closed up tight, refusing to allow any sunlight inside. If I hadn't left it just 2 days prior, I'd have thought the house had been abandoned. You didn't call it, because she showed up and was talking to his sister-in-law and acting normal. And he's convinced them that she's crazy, and so they're going to the house to be like, hey, you need to chill out. She's not a ghost. We moved through each room, carefully checking any place that she might hide, occasionally calling her name. Why the fuck are you looking under the couch? Chris asked. Aren't we looking for your wife? He was looking at me like I was a moron. Let's just go upstairs. He shook his head but followed me up the stairs to check the bathroom
day for capitalism.
and spare bedroom. On the way up, my shoes crunched over pieces of glass that looked to be littered over a few steps. I noticed that one of Lynn and my wedding portraits that hung up on the wall along the staircase had been smashed. The frame hung crookedly, all the glass was removed. I stared at the picture, a lump forming in my throat. We had taken that photo just after leaving the church, after saying our vows. She looked so beautiful in her white gown. I looked at Lynn's beautiful face. I never dreamed her face would ever be a source of terror for me. We climbed the rest of the steps and checked the spare bedroom, but it looked completely untouched. I was hesitant to go into the bathroom, my fear from that night coming back to me all at once. Chris noticed and offered to go in by himself, but I couldn't let him do that. So we walked in together, checking the closet and the shower. The bathroom looked as if it hadn't been touched since the night I left. I don't think she's been here, Ben. Why don't you pack some clothes and we'll try coming back tomorrow or something? Chris said. I nodded and went into our bedroom and shoved some clothes into a duffel bag. When I checked inside our closet, I came across the source of the smell and gagged. Chris took one look and lost all color in his face. He had to go stand by the stairs to get away from the sight and smell. Maybe you're right, Sabrina. I spoke too soon. It could be talking ghost. It could be talking ghost, yes. I gazed down in shock at what lay inside my closet. Soaking into the rug were at least a dozen eyeballs, all carefully laid out in pairs. Some were as large as quarters, while others were as tiny as marbles. She's taking baby eyes. She's taking fucking baby eyes. What the fuck? What if it's like everyone who's ever looked at him? This is not the way I saw this go. It's not a ghost. Man, I thought I had it bad with Becca's shoe addiction, but fuck me. Your wife's in here collecting eyeballs, Chris said, gagging. Why? That's such a weird thing to... Like, that's a joke, right? He's trying to be, like, a silly haha guy. He's the comedic relief. Shut up, Chris. That's not what you say when you find a bunch of eyeballs in your brother's closet. Like, gee, Willikers, guy. Gee, your mom lets you have 2 hot dogs. Ben, I think we should go, he called from the hall. I'm getting nauseous. Alright. I grabbed my duffel and shut the closet on my new nightmare. I stepped out into the hall and took a deep breath of air. I could taste the rot on my tongue, and I couldn't help but gag. Who the fuck lines up eyeballs in their closet like that? Chris mumbled. I tried to tell you she needed help. She doesn't need help, Ben. She needs a fucking exorcist. You coming or what? I can't stand the smell of any of this. His eyes grew wide with fear. I didn't ask him why. I could feel it. Someone was watching me, and I didn't think it was the eyes in the closet. I turned around, my eyes slowly scanning the bedroom. Christ, he whispered, as I finally saw what we'd missed. Under the bed, curled on her side, watching us with excitement of a kid on Christmas morning, was my wife. She held her hands together just under her chin, and they were shaking eagerly, like a cat bringing you a dead mouse. She's just bringing him little trinkets. She just loves him a lot. This is love. This is just love, guys. She's just in love. Now that she knew she'd been found, I could hear the quiet noises she was making. A sort of hiccuping sound in her throat. As if the excitement was just too much for her. Do you like my stupid sounds? I'm trying to give you immersion, broken up by the opposite of immersion. It was unnerving, to say the least. Wide eyes, and that same huge smile. Everything in me told me to run, but I forced it away. This was my wife. No matter how twisted, she was still the woman I married. I had to help her. Lynn, I said softly. She didn't respond, but her head bobbed back and forth in 2 quick little movements as if she were nodding, like a parrot. She's just a parrot. Baby, I just want to help you, okay? Can you let me do that? I asked. I had taken a single step forward, approaching her like some kind of dangerous animal. I love you, Lynn, I said softly, taking another step closer. She let a tiny moan escape her wide mouth, and I had to resist the urge to run. Her shoulders were starting to quiver, and her eyes grew as large as saucers. She sees something she likes. Your eyes dilate when you see something you like. Oh, she's just ovulating. You're right. You guys were right. She's just ovulating. And she loves him. This is definitely love, and not something different. No, this is real. This is real love. The twist is that she's just a demon, and this is how she shows her love. She's evil. Yeah, no ghost, just love. When your wife carves out eyes and she has lots of knives, that's amore. When she watches you from your brother's bedroom, that's amore. I crouched down so I could see her better, and immediately saw the blood. Her hands were covered in it. They trembled more the closer I got, as if she was barely able to contain herself. Lynn, are you hurt? You're bleeding. You should know it's the fucking eyes! You should know it's the goddamn eyes in the closet. You have all of the evidence. You should know. My God. Deduction, sir. Deduction. She bobbed her head again, her bloody fingers moving up and down as if playing an invisible piano. Tism fingers. Oh, she's just got autism. She's quirky. They occasionally grazed her chin, leaving smears of blood on her skin. I wanted to recoil in disgust. The smell was coming off her. The smell that was coming off of her was revolting. I could feel the vomit trying to climb up my throat. Her lips were dry and stretched thin, blood seeping between the cracks. I knew she wouldn't come out on her own, but I didn't want to leave her in the state she was in. I scooted closer and reached out to her. The excited hiccuping sounds got louder, and her hands shook.
I am the milkman.
Huh.
My milk is delicious.
Welcome in, slumped. It was then that I could see the blood oozing from in between her fingers. Oh my God, Lynn, you're bleeding, I said instinctively. I reached out to take her hand, but before I could even touch her, her hand sprang out towards me. A sharp pain shot through my arm, and I fell back on my ass. My arm burned. I could see the blood dripping down onto the carpet. I looked back at her in shock, and her grinning madly, her fingers clutching a large shard of glass. You all right in there? Chris asked from behind. I turned my head slightly and nodded to him, cradling my arm to my chest. When I turned back to face Lynn, I saw that her focus had shifted. She wasn't looking at me anymore, and she wasn't smiling anymore either. She was staring past me, her eyes glaring at Chris the way a hungry lion might stare at an antelope. Her mouth was still hanging open, but it was twisted into a snarl. I can't do it, man. I got to my feet and began to walk back towards the hall, afraid to take my eyes off her. Are you bleeding? Chris asked. The moment the words left his mouth, Lynn started fast scooting out from under the bed, the glass shard still in her fist. Chris, run, go! He must have been too afraid to move, because a second later I felt my back bump into him. He was still standing at the top of the stairs, staring at the horror that was my wife. Lynn had crawled completely out from under the bed and stood in the bedroom doorway. Her face twisted in rage. Her whole body was visibly tense. Blood ran down her fingers and onto the floor. Jesus, Lynn. You playing hide and seek? Why is he taking this so... He keeps making jokes. He deserves to die. I reached back and pushed him towards the steps. No! Let him die. Move your ass, Chris! Lynn bobbed her head in, fast, sharp motions, like a bird, and began to grin, stretching her mouth open wider and wider so that her chin seemed to touch her chest. I heard Chris mutter a prayer. Then he was running down the stairs. I stood at the top of the steps, stuck between the love for a woman who clearly needed serious help and self-preservation. I only want to help, I said, choking back tears. Her eyes focused on me once again as she slowly lifted the glass, holding it out in front of her. And then she started sprinting towards me, grinning with utter excitement. Thankfully, my body took over and I flew down the stairs, skipping 2 or 3 at a time. I made it to the front door before I felt a leap in my back, wrapping her arms around my neck, her open mouth next to my ear so that I could hear those terrible hiccuping sounds up close. I shook her off me, knocking her to the floor. I felt a searing pain in my back as she went, but I tore open the front door and bolted to my car. Chris was standing in the front yard, talking on the phone with the police. I didn't say a word. I just ran to my car and jumped in. Chris took the hint and followed me, still on the line with 911. Okay, now he's being smart. I watched the rearview window, but I'd see her there, running after us, but I never did. I went straight to the ER and got 11 stitches in my arm and 3 on my back. The police asked a lot of questions and went back to the house to do a search, but of course, Lynn wasn't there. They advised me to stay with a friend or relative for a while and to file a restraining order as soon as I could, but none of those things would matter. Somehow I just knew. I dropped Chris off at home and went to a motel an hour away. I wanted to put as much distance between me and Lynn as I could. This is where I've been for the last 4 hours. I thought maybe the police would find her. Maybe they'd get her help. But now, I don't think so. Because 40 minutes ago, I got a text from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I found you. And a picture attached. The picture was dark and grainy, but I instantly knew what it was. There was no mistaking my wife's eyes. I started typing this out immediately after. I don't know what to do. I'm alone and scared, and I can't help but feel that I'm being watched. The end. That was, my wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying on r/no-sleep. And goddamn, that was a good one. It was posted 4 years ago. I looked up top of all time. The first one is my sugar daddy asks me for weird favors. That's the top r/no-sleep story. And it was posted 6 years ago. By Yapptapped. Yapptapped. EAPATBP. Yapptapped. There was a lot of he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit talking that shit, or you'll be leaving with the fat lip. Do. I think you better quit talking that shit, or you'll be leaving with the fat lip. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit talking that shit, or you'll be leaving with the fat lip. Any recommendations? If you have any, I can give it a old look over and make sure that it's not, like, against TOS. Something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03. She sold happiness in glass jars. A shattered life. My job is watching a woman trapped in a room. Oh my god. It's Twitch mods. There's a lot of them. The top one, though, has 73,000 upvotes. Dang. Maybe we should read my sugar daddy ask me for weird favors. But I think we will do that on the next spooky, scary story ASMR stream. It is almost midnight. I think it is time for me to mosey on down the dusty trail. I will maybe possibly stream tomorrow night. It depends on how quickly I get things done in the day and how I'm feeling in my own brain noggin. Been very stressed out. Been dealing with a lot of stress due to the government shutdown. Trying to pick up and get what I can done so that I can be as calm as possible. So I've been focusing on other things. I cleaned the fuck out of my house. It was a very productive time. But I'm hoping that I can get more streaming in. I think I might start doing like an hour-long daytime stream and then a nighttime stream that goes on for however long. You know, maybe on the weekdays or the weekends. I don't know. I've been trying to be awake more often early in the day. Yeah, thank you. And thank you to all the new followers and, you know, the biddies and the resubs. I really appreciate that. Yee. And I'm so can I give you guys some anxiety? This has been fun. I sent this picture to birds because I was like, look, I have my TV on this thing, and part of me is like, damn, I wish I could get a new TV stand. And this is what I'm using as a TV stand. Load. It's a broken bookshelf. It's the broken bookshelf that I had my anime figures on that kept like trying to lean over and crash. And then eventually I saved up and I got a new bookshelf. The TV had been on the ground, so I was like, what if I just turn it sideways? And I used that for an entertainment system. You see my Febreze? Yeah, yep. We've got Febreze. We've got one of those little, like, calming sand things. The sand thingamabobs, right? The wolf statue that was given to me by my great-great-grandma when she died at 98. I broke it because I took it to show and tell and I dropped it. And one of them has, like, no bottom jaw. And I love it. And she was like, you can keep this now. 4 wolves inside of you. And they all belonged to my grandmama. I love my air freshener VTuber girl. It's cinnamon bun scent. It's one of the little limited smell good things. I also have candles everywhere. I mop my floor with Fabuloso. Oh, it's been so nice. I got the lemon Fabuloso, and I have like a limited edition scent Fabuloso that I like to use sometimes to mix it up. I like my house smelling nice. I like my house smelling really good and cozy in like a bakery. So like the wax melter over there on the left of the TV makes my house smell like fresh baked cookies. Fresh baked cookie. But anyways, I ended up putting an actual like TV stand on my throne because of the amount of anxiety I was giving people. It's now giving me anxiety because now I'm like, it's gonna fall over at any second, even though it's been standing for 7 months. But it does look shitty. It looks very shitty, and it does put my TV at jeopardy, and I can't afford a new TV. But bada boom bada bam, actual entertainment system possibly, because an anonymous gifter like donated towards it. So it makes it more likely that we're gonna get the TV stand. And then boom bam, it won't fall over and break and kill my TV. I need that. I need that to watch my spooky shows while I'm working. I like being in the living room. I like being in the communal space. Oh, and every Saturday now, we're gonna start doing a D&D campaign. So me and both of my roommates and then some friends that we made at that gay bar we were going to for goth night, they're coming over to do D&D. They're gonna do D&D with us on Saturdays. They came and helped us chop up that tree that fell in our yard today, which was pretty fucking cool. They want to bring us their big giant set of patio furniture that they can't fit at their house. And they want to just like set it up and like essentially just like make our house more fun to hang out at, I guess. Like that's the benefit for them. I was sitting there like, man, why would they want to help us out like this? And then I was like, oh, I bet it makes it funner to hang out over here. We've got like a lot of space. Like, it's a nice, it's just a nice environment, I guess. I've got a big backyard and a big patio. So, like, setting up patio furniture and a grill, like, you can just have friends over. They're moving into the walls. I don't mind that. I don't have any family or friends, like, in person, so this is pretty nice. I guess now I do have friends in person. It was fun. It was cool. But yeah, so they helped us chop up the tree. Saturdays we're gonna be doing D&D. They brought us a lawnmower, so we don't have to like pay for lawn service anymore, so that we don't get fined by the city. We could just mow the lawn now with our own little mower. Patio furniture they want to bring over. They're very nice. They're very, very nice, sweet people. And I look forward to hanging out with them. And like they don't need to do this either. Like I would happily give them something for the stuff. And they're just like, no, take it. We're just gonna come hang out with you. And then we're like, huh. But yeah, it's been nice. And I really look forward to doing D&D nights. They do this to drink all your milk? No. I did let them partake of my vanilla Coca-Colas today, though. Though I really like sharing stuff. I think the only time I won't share something is if I, like, take it and ferret it away to my room. If it's ferreted away to my room, it's do not touch it. No touchy. Mine. I'm territorial. If it's in my room, it's mine. Stay away. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I've been stressed, and I'm trying to make myself not as stressed. And as much as I like coming here and streaming, whenever other stuff is making me super stressed, I don't like to come here and like make it stressed out Neo energy. I would rather you guys have me at my best. I know you guys would like me at my best or my worst, but my worst is mentally ill, and I have to combat that. So I'm gonna be combating that. Oh, my back snap. I really wish that I worked, like, with a schedule. I wish my brain could process a schedule, but I cannot. At least with work, I know what I'm doing every day at this, not the same time, but roughly around like when I want to. You know, the window periods. I'm spontaneous. I'm spontaneous. One second, I need to check a thing. Huzzah! I have things to finish and stuff to hand out. But yeah, I wish I could live on a schedule and make streams like, I don't know, a little bit more less sporadic. Like, I wish I could predict, like, oh, I see, on Thursday I'm going to want to talk for like 4 hours. I see. And then boom, bam, set it as a schedule. But I am unfortunately not psychic as much as I tried to convince myself I was when I was a child. My mom tried to convince me that I had psychic powers as a child, too. She told me this weird story once. She was like, yeah, I was at the grocery store, and this lady came up to me, and she grabbed my hands, and she looked at you, and she said to me, as she stared me in the eyes, unblinking, your child is very special and has an old soul and psychic abilities. You must protect them with all of your might. Which led to my mom, somehow being overprotective of me and then also super abusive of me. Good night, hungry. Have a good night at work. Reach my hand through the screen. I don't know how to tell you this.
A fantastic day for capitalism.
But no, I can't. But you can see my hand. I made it. Whoa, 4D experience. It's usually how I get my nails done for conventions. Is long. I love how my hand moves. Hands, belly button, kneecaps. I forget that you guys don't see my lower half. Shoes. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Thank you. I am a oh. I forget that I have thigh squish. Smushy. I told Kai that I wanted to be a short stack, but not a lolly. And they cooked. You did her squats, now she's Thighzilla. It's based off of my real proportions. Smushy. Kai actually used photos of me from Cowicon when I was dressed up as myself to go in and change my model art up. Like the model looked very different, and then multiple times Kai was like, no, wait, I'm going back. We have to cook again. We have to fix it. Something here ain't right. It's the proportions. And then they cooked again and again until they got me good. Look at me. In all of my glory. Cha-cha-cha. And this isn't even the full model yet. We have to get the model finished up by a different rigger. So I'm hopefully getting my jacket soon and my other emotions. Bulging muscles? I don't have bulging muscles. I have scrawny little arms. I feel like you think that I am buffer than I am. I'm just somehow skinny. I am just skinny and soft. I am not muscly. In some places, I'm bony. I'm not muscly in any kind of way. I used to be. Oh god, I wish I still was. Back in the day, back in my heyday. I miss you, Pole. Bones. But yeah. I am gonna go hop out for the night. I think I am sleepy and I have emails that I have to send. And stuff that I have to finish that I didn't finish because I passed out. I got gifted one, but Amazon fucked up. And they ran out of them and it didn't like notify Throne. And then it put the money into my Throne. And then I could never find another pole with the same price. So I had to like keep it in my balance on Throne. Goodbye, everybody. Farewell. Have a good night. I will miss you and maybe see you tomorrow. I'll read you another spooky story or maybe do karaoke. Who knows? I've kind of gaslit myself into thinking that I am absolutely dog water at singing, which I could be, for all I know. But goodbye!